1, 2, 3, clap.
Oh, well, that went well.
That's good. It's the time difference.
Yeah, that's it. It's all that way down south that I'm at, so it's totally different.
It's not the first time you've been down south, is it, Mike?
No, I've done it a bit, ain't I?
I'm just loving it. I'm still in my
Love
room.
it. Oh, yeah, up there. I've got the apples and pears and all that, don't I? But, yeah.
What, would you just been eating some lovely jelly deals then, eh?
Oh, yeah, love a bit of jelly deals, yeah.
Flipping hell, then I'm going to go down the fish and chip shop and get me in my Capri.
Yeah, in Capri down there with the old dice dangling. And Tracy on my elbow down there. She's lovely, lovely girl. She's lovely. Her mum's nice.
Her mum makes a lovely breakfast.
Yeah.
Lovely breakfast.
Lovely breakfast.
This is all
deep fried everything.
Deep fried everything. Should deep fry your coffee if you get away with it. Lovely.
Yeah, have it battered. Batter me coffee and fry it,
exactly.
please.
Occasionally you get a bit of fag ash in it because that's like she likes to smoke. She says it's my one vice in life. I do like it.
Yeah, only that and the other stuff. Yeah, and obviously the
57 bottles of Lamborghini on a Friday night.
Oh yeah, a couple of baby shams just to chase it up. You know.
Shall we start the show then?
Okay then.
That's a warm up. Warm up.
Yes.
Just cough.
Yeah, yes. I had spent a season in Budland, you know.
I remember I was camel chasing for a while. It was very, very dangerous work, in fact, because you know, they talk about lions and they talk about, cheetahs and stuff like that. But a camel has got a kick on him, and he can spit like...
Oh, the angry beasts, you know. They've always got the hump.
Right. No idea what's going on here. It's like a sketch show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all got a bit tricky.
Right. Fuck. Right.
I could pose myself.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
That's not happening, no.
Shudders on me lungs. Jesus. You just start off the show doing like Michael Caine. Could you do Michael Caine? You can do Michael Caine.
It's like, stop throwing those bloody board games at me.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
You're only supposed to throw the dice once. That wasn't even anything like Michael Caine.
And he had his constitution, and he thought he was going to throw a 15, because afterwards he thought he was throwing with advantage. What he didn't realise that he'd left his bow back in the tavern. He'd substituted it for an emerald that was the size of a duck egg. What are you saying, Alfred? Sometimes I'm saying you should stop playing bloody board games and go outside. I can't do young mate. It must be my age. I can't do young Michael Caine.
No, he's
I can only do young. I can do like
the old cigars of kind of.
Yeah, that's isn't it? That's like The Trip, isn't it, with Steve Coogan in that. Fantastic. Yeah. Right, 5 minutes in, still not started the show. This is good.
Oh, good. We're doing well.
Comedy gold so far, though. People are going to be loving it. Okay.
Right, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Good. Hello.
Well, hello, Richard. How are you?
I'm very good, Mr. Barnes. How are you?
Good. I'm all right. Yeah.
And this is We're Not Wizards, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Barnes, who is part of this. He's part of this wonderful podcast called Who Dares Rolls.
Yes.
And he also does other things as well. At the moment,
I have been known to do other things as well. I've been known to occasionally podcast. He's locked in his cupboard, and that'll become apparent very, very soon. But for people who are listening for the first time, thank you for joining us. The reason that we do this is because, quite simply, there's not enough podcasts out there about board games. I've checked, and now you can check on Spotify. Can you?
Yes, you can. And guess what?
What's that?
We're on Spotify now.
Ooh.
Don't know how it happened. Don't know how it happened. No idea.
Magic.
It is. Well, don't say the M word. We've already spoken
about
this, Mr. Barnes.
Done it.
Not like to say anything about magic. But the other reason that we do this is because Mike was on a little while ago.
Oh, it was a while back.
It was a while back.
It was last year.
It was last year. It was 2017. The year that people would like to forget, they would say.
Well, yeah. But now you're back.
I am.
Because you're doing only two. But how the devil are you? First of all, are you well?
Well, I am well. I kept well. I've had a little bit of a rest, and then I can't even say the word. The podcast and the website had a little bit of a lay down, a little rest because it's been tiring work.
Yeah.
But we are reigniting the old boiler. And
some people might say reigniting the wet fart of
well, yeah, it's probably closer to the thing. The long, drawn-out death rattle of a man dying of terminal flatulence. Yes, so yes, that's happening again. We've back. We're kind of back with it. I'm trying to at least get one out a month, so that we'll see how we do.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, it is with what I'm working with, It's like trying to wrestle, sort of like, just crazy kittens.
So, yeah, it's always like trying to herd cats. It's like trying to get together a regular kind of D&D party kind of thing, isn't it? It's kind of like everybody, like once a month guaranteed, and then it moves to once every 6 weeks is a definite, and then it's like, who can do June?
Exactly. It's next week, no, week after that, okay, April, okay, then we'll do that. I mean, there's so few of these podcasts around, we can afford to pick and choose when we put them out, because obviously there's nothing else to keep people entertained with.
People in
betwixt times.
I know, people are just waiting, because obviously when they go to iTunes, there is only about 5 of us, I think.
Yes.
You gotta mention gaming rules, because otherwise we'll get in trouble.
Oh my god, don't invoke him. It'd be here, like he's like the genie in Aladdin. Hello. Yeah. Would you like me to teach you a game? No, go away.
It's uncanny. It's almost like he's in the room. Then there's Polyhedron Collider, which we love.
Well, we talk about them really, frankly.
On occasion, I mean, honest, There's, they kind of...
They come along...
Yeah, they kind of like turn up.
They do. They kind of just like a bad smell, really. They're a constant bane of my existence. There I have been quite happily plopping around, podding away, and then they turn up with their shenanigans.
And Aircon, they're going to Aircon. So so if you're going to Aircon, the Polyhedron Collider boys are going to be there, which should be a lot of fun, because we have...
Yeah, they didn't turn up last year. There was only Andy turned up last year. I did last year, Aircon.
Oh. And, are you doing it this year?
It's a very long way to go.
Yeah.
And you go past, and you go up north, and it just gets all green, and then they all talk. You just can't understand them, and it's like,
be very careful.
They do make a lovely cup of tea, though, so that's to their advantage.
Well, that's where it was invented.
Yeah, I let them off of that.
Yeah,
but no, it's too much of a trek. I was going to do it, but it's bloody miles, and I did enjoy it last year, but it's a killer. That journey is a killer. I drove up there last time, and I was in the car for like a week.
Was it 6 hours or something like that?
Something ridiculous like that.
I mean,
I mean, when you're stuck in a vehicle with your own company, frankly, it's not good, because I'm an arsehole. So. Even I was sick of me by the time I got to the end of the journey.
I'm sick. Shouting at yourself, saying, "Listen, if you don't shut up, I'm going to turn this car around."
That's it. Out and out.
You end up running alongside the car.
Like, let that be a lesson to me.
Like Brian out of East 17. Dearie me. Because last time you were on, you were involved in Diced.
Oh yes, I was.
I
was involved in Diced.
And you've moved away. You've moved away from there.
Yes.
In the time from that, because that was a little while ago.
So yeah, it was a while back.
Anything has been catching your eye of late in terms of the actual cardboard? Because let's not talk about the past. We do like to talk about the past, but you can look at, you've been on before, and we've had a good chat. I'd just like to say I almost bought Ready Player One in book form.
Come on!
I'll tell you what, I'll do it just now while you were here. I will do it while you're
the
live.
Movie's out this month. Movie's out. You've got like a few more weeks.
Yes, I know, but it's kind of like, I don't know. We'll have to see. So, you've been playing anything recently that's been kind of grabbed you?
Well, I'm just trying to think. I played some Rising Sun.
All right.
That finally came. That arrived eventually. We won't go there, but but yeah, when it did turn up. But yeah, I played a little bit of that, and I do kind of like what that's doing. I think that's got some legs, actually. but I've not played enough of it to really kind of formulate a full sort of like, oh, you know, I did like what I've played of it.
I heard the board games in bed people talk about it just today, and they said that they kind of prefer Blood Rage. It takes a certain type of cutthroatedness in terms of sometimes like the negotiation, and it sounded like they had a cracking game of it, and it sounded at some point that it all kind of kicked off almost.
Yes.
And so they were talking about that, but I've heard it's kind of, is it one of these games that if you're not into the kind of the negotiation type of thing, then maybe it's not kind of for you?
There is, I mean, obviously there is a bit of diplomacy in it. Literally a bit of diplomacy, actually. It's kind of robs a little bit of that. You don't have to do a massive amount of negotiation, but I think the couple of games I've played of it is that if you are going to get involved in any of that it does bring a lot more to the game. If you've got people, because you've got lots of options to betray people as well, of course. But I mean, there's that whole, if you can team up, and there's lots of, I do like how it links when you team up with people, you get more abilities. So it's kind of dangling the carrot that you're going to have one of these allegiances. But you know, there's some clever plays of it. I played one where my brother-in-law actually was breaking allegiances, and he had a power that he could select the mandates you get. Every turn you have these mandates that you select that give you what you can do that round. And his ability of his race was he could basically put anything down as a blank and call it what he wanted. And he was just burning off all the mandates that have been really helpful to us. So it's quite brutal. As I say, and I think there's a lot in it. I mean, I love Blood Rage. I really like Blood Rage, and it is a different beast. Blood Rage is a faster game, though I think Blood Rage is very unforgiving to new players with that drafting. With experienced players, Blood Rage is really good. I think a new player coming to Blood Rage, a bunch of people who've played it a dozen times, is going to get hosed completely.
Yeah.
But this is a bit more forgiving in those regards. But they are different beasts, obviously similar, cut from same cloth. But yeah, this one's got a little bit more going on, a bit deeper, I think, mechanically, and a bit more meat on its bones.
I don't know if I've got a bit of backer's regret with Rising Sun. I'm not sure. I'm kind of on the fence because I know at some point somebody's going to bring it to the club, and I'm going to be like, yes, I definitely want to play it. But at the same time, I kind of, do you know what put me off? I think at the time it was the kind of the paid for expansions at the time, and I looked at it and I kind of went, this is going to be an absolute fortune if I go in for this, and it looks stunning, and I'm not wanting to kind of go in, guess half kind of way. You know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I didn't get any of the expansions. I did exactly what just did the base pledge because I looked at the expansions, and there was the map, which probably would have been nice to have. Now I think about it, I do regret a little bit not having the map, but I do think the base set was gorgeous. And actually, on this, all the Kickstarter extras were really quite nice. They weren't just cosmetic. The strongholds all being plastic models, which you won't get if you buy it off the shelf from the store. It's a bit of a shame, really, actually.
Yeah.
I do think it's a kind of a weird one, because I'm kind of full on the thing. I've got it, and I think, well, actually, it looks really nice, and it's the first time where I've actually felt the extras, the bling, it does add to the game. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes it's kind of superfluous. But I do feel it's a little bit of a jibe that, you know, anyone who missed out on the Kickstarter is getting a little bit less of a game. The game's all still there, but actually those extras did punch it up a little bit. It does look gorgeous with all the extra bits.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, it comes down to when you're paying, as opposed to paying 80 quid, when you're paying like 140 quid instead. You know, and it's I mean, kind of thing. But that discussion can go on. Can go on and on and on. I like that.
Oh, yeah, no, it's good. It's entertaining. If you're a fan of Blokes on the Map for Eric Lang Chaos Mayhem, stabby, then you know it does that, and it does it very well, and it's very good. I mean, the bling aside, well, because we all like a bit of toy and a bit of plastic, but it is quite a nice, tight little game in there.
Yeah, I kind of. Do you know what? I kind of I played, and we actually spoke about it recently. Not you and me, but me and Colin spoke about The Godfather.
Oh yeah, I see. I like The Godfather. That's a solid game.
I really liked it. I really liked it. I was actually pleasantly surprised from it. I think I kind of I got it on I got it on a whim, and I got it really, really for a good price when I got it. And I thought, right, okay, I'll get this because it's Eric Lang, tick, bing. You know what I mean? Bing. It's cool mini or not, bing. Whether whichever way you look at it, the production values are always going to be there. But really, it was. I think I said this at the time. It's one of those games that within 2 or 3 turns, you get it.
Yes, I loved the rule. There's like 4 rules in that game, really, and you can teach it so quickly, and you can play it, and you get it, and it's as a design sort of for other designs to look at. Say what you will about it, can you get some slack, you get some crap and all that, but actually, that rule set is tight. It's a really tight little rule set, and it works beautifully. It's a great little game you can teach. My only issue with the game is thematically. It's barely Godfather. It's kind of a bit sploshed.
Yeah, we said the same.
Yeah. It's not really the Godfather game, really. And I think it's a bit overproduced what it is. It's lovely. Little tins and all that are very cool, but it doesn't need all that shit, really.
Well, I think the other thing I said...
But it's nice.
Yeah, I think the other thing I said was I felt the artwork was kind of wasted. I felt there was...
It's all in the rulebook, not on the cards. I'm like, there's some gorgeous art in that rulebook, and you're like, none of it's on any of the bloody cards.
It is one of these things that you would take individual pages of the rulebook and kind of get them blown up, and then stick them on the wall, because they would do in a, you could see them in a themed room.
They would lovely.
Oh, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Rising Sun, as I say, if you're saying to me, didn't back it, then you're kind of missing out potentially a little bit. I might wait and see who has got it. One of my friends got Lords of Helios.
I've seen lots of photos. Yeah,
I love the theme for that. I love the mechanical kind of theme for that. Anything else you've been kind of bringing to the table as well?
To be honest, it's Gloomhaven.
Really?
We've got 2 game groups, and my one group is pretty much we're just completely. We're in Gloomhaven. We're kind of mostly into that, and that's been since before Christmas. We've just been playing Gloomhaven every week, and every time I've said a few times, well, maybe we'll have a little bit of a break, and we did a TI4 one night, I think, and we did play Rising Sun. But other than that, it's been Gloomhaven, and that's pretty much what we've been playing on a permanent loop, really.
Is it? How many folk you got playing it?
4 of us are playing it.
Right, because I mean, Colin got Gloomhaven, and he says he tried to get a group together to actually just regularly play it. It's been a bit of a nightmare for him. So he's kind of like going, this is a bit rubbish, because apparently I've got this fantastic game that's in that is in a it's a huge box, and he showed me the box and I was like, oh my goodness,
it's monstrous,
absolutely fantastic.
It's a monstrous box.
But it says that you can commit to playing, I can commit to playing, but we need kind of like a third and a fourth that are always going to be ready and always going to be playing. So we're wondering about kind of taking it out on a once a month basis and just saying, right, this is the Friday that we play Gloomhaven, basically. In your experience so far, is it going to play as well as a 2-player game as a 4, do you think?
I imagine it should still be entertaining. I mean, the level's designed to kind of to factor into how many of you are playing it. So it's quite cleverly designed in that, if there's only a couple of you in there, then you're encountering, what the dungeon says for 2 players rather than you would for 4. So I think it's balanced quite well. That I don't think actually in the scheme of things you should really notice anymore. But then it's quite cool to have more characters, more, because you've got more abilities on the board and there's more crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, I've heard it's like character in a box. So it's not like the Days of Hero Quest or, let's face it, Super Dungeon Explorer or something. It's like, well, this time I'm going to play this character and I'll use all the special abilities. It's almost like Legacy. You take the guy out the box, you pick a card, that tells us kind of like what his goal is, and once he fulfills his goal, then he goes back in the box.
He retires and you get a new class open up. I haven't retired my character yet. My character's like a level 7 now. It's not retired. His mission for his retirement mission is like one species of creature I've got to kill that we've encountered once, and everyone killed them before I even saw the bloody things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's well worth a lot of the hype it's got. I totally appreciate you really got to have a good group that can play it regularly, and I knew going in that we were going to do that, so that's a regular weekly thing for us. I mean, I think it's been over-egged on the D&D side of it, the RPG side of it. There is, there's story there, but but I think you get immersed into the world of what there is there, more importantly into your character and leveling it up. And that questing and going on, it's got a bit of World of Warcrafty sort of vibe to it. And it is quite, I mean, we've not got tired of it yet. We've played a lot of that game now. I don't actually know how many games we've played, but it's months of it we've played. Is it
a good introduction to role playing then? If somebody says, I'm thinking about playing, going to play Dungeons and Dragons, or I've been asked if I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, and if somebody says, but I've got the option of playing, we're going to thinking about playing Gloomhaven for a couple of months before we jump into the campaign. Do you think that'd be a nice little introduction for them to do that instead?
It's a bit of if I'm honest, it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven is far and above more of a tactical battle game.
Yeah.
You're it's your miniatures and you're fighting those creatures in the dungeons. The RPG elements are kind of skimmed over the top. There is some story in there, and it definitely story builds as you go through the game. But really, it's far removed, in my opinion. It's more closer to a video game RPG type experience rather than an RPG experience.
All right, okay. Like
I'd say, if you played the Baldur's Gates of the Worlds and you played the Final Fantasy, that's sort of the video game RPG. It's more that than it is a traditional RPG, is what I would say.
Okay, cool. All right, okay, cool. So Gloomhaven's going to be for some time then?
Well, apparently so, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's supposed to be like a year's worth of game in that box, so...
Well, it's some box.
I mean, there is a lot going on, and we've opened some new characters up, and the map's grown, and we've got more locations on the map now, and stuff's going on. But I don't feel at this point that there's an end in sight. We get like quest chains opening up, so I'm still at the point of going, I can't see. There's not. I don't know. Stuff's happening, but I'm not convinced where we are in the adventure. I have no idea.
It's kind of strange, but it's kind of good because it's almost like it's easy to get kind of fatigue. There's very few games. There's very few games I know that people will just come back again and again and again and again. I guess recently, Legend of the Five Rings. I think I've seen lots of. There's I think Mr. Leo and Andy. They're just constantly playing Legend of the Five Rings all the time, without fail, regardless of whatever is on. And again, apart from maybe a traditional kind of D&D campaign, there's got to be the kind of the draw in it as well. I mean, I've been there with Descent.
Yeah, I got bored very quickly with Descent.
Yeah,
if I'm honest. I played quite a lot of Imperial Assault because that's Star Wars.
Yes, and
it's much better implementation, I think, of Descent. Descent, I just got kind of bored with Descent because the actual world and the characters were all a bit They were kind of not. They're just kind of very stereotypical sort of.
It needed better flavour text, in my opinion. It needed to step away from the traditional tropes to make it maybe potentially do something different. I reckon the mechanics were there, and it was damn good fun to play. But you kind of almost ended up moving from point A to point B, and kind of slaughtering everybody kind of in between. Far too many times. And then there was also times where you felt that the DM had to kind of hold back a bit, because otherwise he was going to make things so difficult for you.
I think the problem I had was Ben was DMing for us quite a lot, and he didn't come from an RPG background, so he really didn't know how to pull his punches, so we were getting just slaughtered, and you're kind of going, this isn't really any fun. I'm not enjoying this. Which is why I took over GMing on the Imperial Assault games, and I went more for a more like RPG GM type role, where I was kind of giving them ins and outs so that they actually felt that they had a chance.
Okay. No, it's just it's just interesting. I think, do you know what? I think what has made me think about this was because I was looking through a lot of the games that I have, and I'm considering. I've been lucky with the games that I've got, as in. But I'm also thinking about, is it time to start kind of maybe trimming a bit of pruning?
I am thinking, because I'm in the process of converting my garage at the moment into an actual games room.
Yeah.
So when I eventually get out there, I might have a think and look, because when you look and you've got like 4 or 5 deck builders, you're like, do I need 4 or 5 deck builders? Probably not. How many of them am I playing? It's just.
Yeah, it's kind of like, am I actually going to play it? Am I actually going to miss it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, speaking of Imperial Assault,
Yep.
mine's unpunched.
To be fair, I mean, I haven't played it since we started playing Gloomhaven, so I've got. I mean, I've played the base set, I've played the Empire Strike, the Hoth version, and then the Jabba's Realm and the other ones I own, the expansions. None of them have yet hit the table, so.
Do you know what? I think I got it at the wrong time. I think I got it at the time where I hadn't too long finished Descent, and
yeah, so a bit burnout.
And my birthday came up, and my mum says, "It's a special birthday." And I was like, I know, don't tell anybody. I'm 21 again. And she went, "Here, have some birthday money." And I went, "Right, okay. Imperial Assault, I'm just going to get it because I got it for a bargain at the time. I think it was in one of the Christmas sales or something like that, so I got it, and it's just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
And it's just never got there, because I thought, I've even said, shall we play Imperial Assault, and thought, well, we've kind of played Descent, and that kind of ran its course, so I'm not kind of sure unless you're going to show me something magical. And then, as you know, kind of other games kind of come up.
Other shiny stuff appears.
As always,
Indeed.
I've got GKR heavy hitters sitting there. I've got Grimslingers has arrived.
Oh.
City of Kings.
Have you got that yet?
Not yet.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say anything. But I just got off of having a chat with Frank, actually, our buddy Frank. So,
oh yes. Yeah.
He's bless him.
I do like.
I love Frank. He's lovely. But yeah, unfortunately, City of Kings, the European distribution, has hit a bit of a speed bump.
Yes. Yeah, he's put
namely Games Quest.
He put an update out today, so we shall see what happens. But I'm looking forward to that. But it does mean that other things kind of get pushed to the side, which leads me on to my thing, which is to say, do I need all of these games? Am I going to play these games? Do I own certain games because you should own them?
Yeah.
I have
been looking because I'm thinking, there's a lot. I'm surrounded by cardboard boxes, and I'm like, really, do I need all that? That's not got played. When's that last got played? When did that get played? So, yeah, I may need to have some self-control.
I think the only ones that I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to let go would maybe be the Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah, I think anything that is not going to be easy or cheap to replace, then I think would be the last things to go out the door. If anything that's going to cost me a small fortune to get back, then or out of print. That's the other thing as well. Yeah,
I mean, there'd be nothing. I've got Hero Quest there.
Yeah, I've still got mine. I couldn't get rid of my Hero Quest. I can't do it.
I can't.
I played it a couple of years ago with the kids. They really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I played it very, very recently with the kids, and they really, they kind of really liked it. In fact, I took it along to the club because one of the guys kind of went, "You've got Hero Quest?" I was like, "Yeah, I've got Hero Quest." He says, "You joking?" He says, "No, I've got Hero Quest Advanced, the one with the men at arms." He went, "I've never even seen that." I says, "I shall bring it in." So we brought it in and he played it. And what you don't realise at the time is Hero Quest is really difficult.
Oh yeah, it's a tricky swine.
When you're starting out, it's really, really tricky to play. Especially because it's like the roll, because there's a whole roll for attack, there's a whole roll and move. It's like such a random, slightly advanced version of Snakes and Ladders, because if you go down the wrong path, you're absolutely stuffed. But it was good fun. But I'm going to hang on to it. I've got Space Hulk as well.
Yeah, see, I got rid of my early version of Space Hulk. I lent it to someone, and I don't remember who. Never saw it again. Oh. Very annoying. But what annoyed me with Games Workshop, which I think they're getting better, is the most recent reprints of the bloody thing. They still only put out very limited numbers, so it's like it's gone before you can see it. So I kind of, part of me, nostalgia-wise, did enjoy Space Hulk. Although Gale Force 9 have announced an Aliens game, so I'm a little bit excited about that because Gale Force 9 are quite good at their licensed stuff.
Yeah, I'll need to see. Licenses and Kickstarters can be nice little bedfellows and can also be seem to be fairly not working incredibly well.
Well, yes.
Kind of current. I think Total Recall was the last one I looked at.
That looked awful.
And I kind of looked at it and I went, where's Arnold? But then
you're right. There was no Arnold there, was there?
No.
There was some very bad photoshopped Sharon Stone-ish artwork. But you're right. I never saw any Arnold in there.
Yeah. No, I mean it was a real shame because the Kickstarter guys went, guys, I don't think you realise, but to actually use the image of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, big money.
would have cost us thousands upon thousands. It would have made actually producing the board game kind of prohibitively expensive, and it was the same. So that's why they didn't have like your man, was it Michael Ironside and obviously Sharon Stone and everybody else that was in it as well. They wouldn't have, they didn't have them in.
Why bother? Why bother then? You know, let's license this wonderful movie everyone loves, but that's not actually put anything from the movie in the game.
I know.
You kind of go, I don't know. I do have there's not been many. I mean, The Thing I quite enjoyed. The new Thing board game by Mondo did it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good, I think, as the print and play one that Mark Chaplin did.
Yeah,
which is very nice. Batman's on Kickstarter, of course, which is lovely.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, no, I have no love for that, to be honest. It's lots of toys, but it's not Batman to me. I would love a really decent Batman game, but I'm not convinced that's what that is at the moment.
I put a thing on Kickstarter to say that I'm not going to enter into big discussions about the price of a Kickstarter, because at the end of the day, for whatever reason I'm deciding not to back it, that doesn't mean that other people shouldn't be able to back it. Absolutely.
People can back it. I mean, there's some lovely looking miniatures in it.
Absolutely.
It is,
yeah.
You know, I would prefer a Batman game that was more to do with his detecting. That game kind of feels to me a bit like a Batman board game based on the Batman video games.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
Yes.
And I want a Batman board game. That's what I want.
Have you got? You haven't dipped into the Batman bi-weekly hardback comic thing, have you?
No, I am. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of Batman because I did collect it throughout the mid to late 80s through to the 90s, to most of the 90s. I collected Batman. I have boxes full of Batman comics. So
is that Death in the Family era? And
yeah, all that, and all the way through Nightfall. All of that. I've got every single conceivable issue of that and everything that came out with it. So I've lots of Batman. Okay. I am, however, though, I have subscribed to the 2000 AD one they're doing.
Oh, right, okay.
The Ultimate Collection, which is reprinting all the early 2000 AD strips like Rogue Trooper and Strontium Dog and all that, which is just gorgeously lovely.
Have they done they did a Juve Gangs kind of Dread game, miniatures game years ago.
There was that, yeah. I had the original. I've got the original ball game by Ian Livingstone. He did the first one. It's quite a basic ball game. It's just Dread.
Mm-hmm.
There was an RPG which I've got still, and there was a mini one. I think it's still around. I think it finished. I think it discontinued. They lost the license. But there is a couple in the works. There is a couple coming this year or next year. A Judge Dredd one. There's like a redo of the the Blockwall one or something. There's some sort of card game coming out. I saw. I'd say it's a license that's all of that 2000 AD stuff. There's some damned good characters and worlds in there that could be really good board games.
Yeah, but then, okay, you going back to the Batman board game, okay.
Yeah.
What do you want out of a Batman board game then? Because you go first, and then
okay. Well, I would want. You know, I don't think generally there's been a really very good superhero board game. Full stop. There's not been really. Sentinels of Mightyverse I enjoy. It's a good card game, which is more like actually a boss battle, where you're kind of all classes fighting a big creature. But there hasn't been, for me personally, a real decent superhero board game. But a Batman one, I mean, the opportunities there of having you more of a detective level, because Batman is supposed to be a detective. So the idea of you're solving crimes as well as beating stuff up, how it would work, I'm not sure, but I just think some sort of like big city map of Gotham or whatever, and you could have, something like they've done with Eldritch Horror or something. Not really that, not those mechanics, but you know what I mean? Something that's kind of like something that could be bolted onto. You can just grow the stories or the world around it. I don't know, just something more than just Batman beating people up.
I'd almost be a case I would like Gotham being the board, and then almost like player mats being kind of brought in to represent the different areas, kind of that kind of thing. I don't think I've seen that before, where you're almost entering into, you explore a part of a map and then you expand that part of the map to then go and play within that kind of area. I know that you get modular games, but I don't think you get like, this is the large map, go into this part and explore that area. And I'd kind of like to see that. I'd like to see the detective side of things.
There's definitely options there for it. I mean, I suppose why bother? I mean, if you could do what they've done, they've made quite a lot of money off that. So it's obviously there is a lot of people happy to have what that game is. But yeah, I would like to see it a bit more story driven. I'd like to see something a bit more story driven, a bit more character driven, and a bit more detecting rather than punchy in the face. Yeah, but
is this almost like the Dark Souls magic, which is you've got an absolutely well loved character, a well loved IP, and look at all these wonderful figures that you get.
Yeah.
And is it not going to be a case that in the next 6 months, people are going to be flogging these on the open market for pre-painted for £600-700 a shot, if not more? I reckon that's what you'll see.
No, you're absolutely right. It's probably going to happen. I mean, Dark Souls kind of was a bit of a damp squib in the end, I think, wasn't it? It got a really huge hype and it did really well on Kickstarter, but it's kind of just plummeted off the cliff face. I don't really see anyone talking about it.
I had Dave Carl on quite recently, a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's been a bit of a victim of the production side of things.
Yeah, I got a feeling they had some. They were obviously beholden to Bandai's sign-offs and stuff as well.
Yeah, so they had to wait for them to come back and say you can do this, you can do that, and I think they were one of these unlucky in the case that they got. They seem to keep hitting Chinese New Year. It's almost as if it was happening on a regular basis.
Oh, here it comes again.
But and I think that's kind of put it back. But yeah, I mean, when you've got a long burning game like that, when you've got the core game, and then you get some people going, core game, wasn't so sure about that. But I still play it. I don't know, I must be one of these stupid people who I'll rock it up on the table and still have fun. But
I really wanted to have it. I nearly backed it, and I was on the fence, and I was like, oh, and I didn't in the end. And I love the idea of it because I love the video games.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd heard a lot of people going, grumbly. I have seen the card games coming out though, and that's supposed to be quite good. So I might have the card game.
Yeah, DC did that as well, and I think the competition that was there was the Bloodborne card game, which was, we talk about kind of Eric Lang's peaks and troughs. The Godfather was very, very high, and I kind of walked away from Bloodborne kind of, okay.
I wanted to enjoy it more than I did. I quite enjoyed it, but it needed more in that box. I think
there's nothing worse than kind of like really kind of what I wanted to get my hands on it for so long, and when I got my hands on it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I purposefully blanked out watching any Let's Plays on it, because then I went, oh, it's cards and it's collecting red thing, blood tokens, and oh, okay. And
it's quite a fast little game.
Yeah.
It's something, it's a sort of Cutthroat Cavernsy. It's kind of like a faster flowing one of that.
Yeah, but it was 3-player.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay. But anyway, I mean, it's still, as I say, I still really like the kind of the Dark Souls board game. I will take it out on occasion and just rattle through it because, first of all, I don't have my PlayStation 3. It's away somewhere. Will Dark Souls, the board game, continue to get played when the remastered Dark Souls game is available? I don't know.
Probably, we don't know. If I saw it cheaper than it is, I might well pick it up and play it. But I mean, kind of quite costly. And I look at it and I go, I haven't heard enough good things from enough people to make me want to sink money into that, because I don't think it's going to get to the table very often. So I'm like, yeah, it was something I was interested in, but yeah, I've not heard enough people kind of like frothing at the mouth about it.
We'll see what happens, because they've got the expansions coming out, and whether that's going to bring out some additional rules. I think there is some additional rules kind of coming the way when they do the additions. I think there'll be a flurry of excitement again when people get the second figures. I think there'll be a flurry of painting, and then I think people will be kind of getting it to the table. But until then, we'll see. Until it comes out, I'm still bringing it out on occasion. I know there's a lot of people that have kind of locked it away in a little room. And speaking of locking things away,
that's a lovely
little room.
Yes, speaking of locking, locking things in rooms.
Were you born in a Barnes?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm locking people in rooms. And not in a S&M, BDSM way.
I was going to say, you got through the prison officer training then.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
I heard you get a really, really nice... You get about 3 or 4 blue shirts, I heard. It's quite good.
Oh, that's nice. That's quite handy then. Change of shirts is always nice, isn't it?
Especially, I heard you like rattling keys, so you're kind of in your element.
A bit of key rattling and a blue shirt, I'm happy.
Here comes Mikey the Rattler.
I want one of those key rings with a chain on it. Oh no, one of those extendable cords on it. That's what I want. So I can kind of stretch keys and swing them as I walk down there,
Exactly.
Just for effect.
Get fired up on a Sunday night by watching Shawshank Redemption.
Indeed. Right, I'm ready now. So that has not helped anyone.
you know what I mean? We're not here for sense.
No.
We're here for chat. But how did you come about it? I mean, where is it, first of all?
So it's in sunny Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down here. So yeah, I nearly worked for Asmodee. Nearly did. And then I had their offer and a local escape room that I went and saw, which was rather gorgeous. And they offered me as well. And I was like, you know what? I quite fancy the idea of doing the escape room thing. Because the Asmodee job was a desk job. And it's like, yeah. So yeah, I managed the local escape room. Elusion Escape Rooms in Southampton. And we've opened the second room in there now. We're looking at another site. And it's quite cool. It's they're quite high production, the ones. That's what drew me to why I'm in the one we're in. Elusion. Because you go to some, I don't know, have you done an escape room? Have you been in one?
I've not yet, no. I mean, it's hard enough for me to get out of my car on a Monday morning, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I've got one of those cars that kind of like the anti-lock, the lock thing comes on maybe about 10 seconds too early than it should be. Something like that, pulling at the handle, going, why don't you let me out? Let
me out. So it's really, I mean, that's what blew me away. I went in there and their production and design and the look of it was like movie prop style. It looked gorgeous. And I'd been to a couple of other escape rooms which were a bit more like, hey, you're in a record shop, and it's kind of just painted magnolia. And with a couple of records nailed to a wall, and you're going, yeah, not really, is it? But this, you were like in the environment. So I was kind of like, yeah, I quite like what you guys are doing. So I've been started since before Christmas. I've been working with them. I've been doing GM in some games, helping with the design of games. We opened a second game now, which is like a horror game and based a bit on Saw and Seven. So it's all very sort of. If you've seen those movies, it's like that. Yeah. And the guys who run it are board gamers. They're big board gamers. So we're selling a selection of board games in the place. And more importantly, I was saying, well, let's get some game mechanics into escape rooms. So the serial killer game we were working on, or the Seven Sins is what it's called. We were trying to put player elimination into it. That you would have like a social deduction element where you have to try and work out if one of you is the killer. Things like that. So we're starting to try and just eke those little bits of board gaminess into games, because a lot of these people that come to these places are muggles. They don't really know of the board game world. So
are you using a magic term?
I am.
You come to this place and you use that term here. I feel like Morpheus. Do you think that's air that you're breathing?
There is no spore.
Exactly. There is no room.
Yes. There is no room. Oh. So yeah, but you get a lot of people who haven't played board games, aren't into the hobby, but yet they will come to an escape room.
Yeah, but that's getting it though. I mean, that's grasping it. I mean, if I said to people, let's play One Night a Werewolf, folk are going to go, no, I'm not going to play that because it's board gamey and it's complicated and there'll be tokens and But if I say, well, tell you what, one of you is going to be the werewolf, and then I'm going to tell everybody to close their eyes, and then there's going to be a couple of you that are going to be werewolves. You're going to keep your eyes open, kind of thing, and then folk will go, oh, I get that, and then you've just got to decide between you. You've got to tell lies and tell the truth in order to get out. And I think people kind of get that. They kind of understand that because they're used to reality TV and people playing games and stuff like that in that kind of way. So that's interesting that you're kind of bringing that in because that sounds kind of quite
well, we thought,
cool.
we thought just kind of sneak it under the radar, because most escape rooms you go in, you've got 60 minutes to get out, and that's it.
Yeah,
solving puzzles and clues. But we were like, well, hold on, let's start maybe just slightly stealthily putting a little bit of game into that game. And they've got some plans. We've got some plans for another site and a lot of rooms, and we're looking at licensed property, but we're waiting to hear back. But we're hoping to do something a bit more cool.
You sound fairly involved. You're saying you're sounding like we, as in that's somebody that sounds fairly. I mean, for somebody that's been involved in the job for like just gone over 2 months, that sounds like there's a lot of investment in your voice there, sir.
Oh yeah, no. The guys who run it, there's Amy and Simon who have run it 9 months. The place has been running, and they designed it all and did it all themselves. They're big RPGers. Simon LARPs. They're really big into all the RPG stuff and board games. So we kind of hit it off straight away because we were like completely attuned with our nerdness. We were like, oh yeah. So yeah, it's been quite. When I came aboard before Christmas, and we finished the Sins room they've got, the serial killer room they've opened. So obviously I was involved in prop design with that and some of the game design and tweaking it and helping them, and they were coming up with stuff. So yeah, it's very much like a very sort of like a closely knit little. It's not like a corporate job. It's we're all in the trenches doing our thing, and they're very open to ideas. You go, oh, I think we should do this and that. Like, oh, that's cool. So we have lots of ideas. So it is quite interesting.
Did you kind of need that then? Do you think? I mean, looking back on being with Dized, and it was kind of like it was high pressure to get a product out there that was launched, and you were kind of doing everything that you could to kind of make that become a reality. When Asmodee came up, and obviously big company, potentially good prospects, job security potentially as well, because the bubble does not seem to be bursting.
No, it does not.
But was there a part of you that thought, well, actually, maybe it's not the case that Asmodee needed Mike Barnes, but maybe Mike Barnes needed to be in a place where he could be Mike Barnes? Because if you've ever listened to your podcast, you have
I don't personally listen to it myself.
I mean, I skim. I think it's the only podcast I listen to on kind of 3 times the speed, just so I can get through it, but I can show support. just add an extra one to the download figure. No, but you're a fairly kind of. If somebody said to me you're going to be hosting an event or like any type of event, I'd be along. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, generally you're quite personable and you're quite high energy and you're always kind of like good fun. I mean, that's why when it was a case of, do you want to come back on the show again? It was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, get you back on. It's a no-brainer for me to have you back on the show again, because I know that we could just take the conversation wherever, and you're not going to go, oh, I'm not comfortable with this.
You just see, a bit quiet.
You just see where it goes. You just see where it goes and things like that, which is kind of cool. So is that what it was when the escape room kind of job came up? Did you kind of go, actually, are you like the Richard O'Brien type of character?
Kind of. I do a bit of that.
I could just imagine it.
I do a lot of that sort of stuff in the place. So I do a lot of greeting and I do a lot of setup, and we all do our own GMing of the games. Everyone does it slightly differently, which is kind of cool. So we're all our own little Richard O'Briens.
Do you have crystal balls?
No, I might get myself a crystal ball, maybe. I must admit, it's all about theatrics to point, and I've always I've never been shy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a lot of things. It was like, you know what, I'm going to take there's always the possibility it might not have worked out, and you go, oh well, the new fresh business is the escape room thing, bubble going to bop. But I was like, you know what, it looks fun. These guys are really my people. They play board games. We've just got on chatting. The interview process was more us nerding between each other. So you kind of go, you know what? Yeah, it sounds like it sounds fun. It sounds interesting. It's not the standard job, and so yeah, I went for it, and it's enjoyable. I am loving it.
Yeah, but is it not better to be doing that than? I mean, you were in your tracksuit jammies.
Oh, that's yeah. I was doing my jammies. Well, Dized. Unfortunately, pretty much what happened with Dized is they had to let the marketing guys go. They'd gone into when we'd funded really well on Indiegogo. I can't even remember what we ended up funding at, but it was not shy of a couple $100,000 we did.
Yeah.
But the guys in the back room in the black suits that we weren't aware of, because they had some investors at the top end, they expected a lot more. And I'd come on very late into the process, so I didn't really know fully what we were on the cards for, but they wanted definitely a couple more zeros at the end of what we eventually achieved. So they were faced with the prospect of we keep going with you guys on board, but with the business might not survive. So it was, they're lovely guys. I love the Dice guys. There's no hard feeling between us, and they were really good to me about it. They were great, and they were like, look, we can't afford to keep you guys on. But here's a lovely, we'll write you a really nice reference letter or that if you need any of that. And if things turn around, fortunes turn around, then you're the first people we're going to call again. So yeah, there was no hatred between us. It was just it ran its course, and I was like, okay. It wasn't great timing. I was like, crap, we're right on top of Christmas. But then, this all happened. So it's like stuff happens for reasons. It all kind of works itself out in the end.
Yeah.
Just kind of go with the flow. See where it takes you.
Do you think this is the kind of the next? I'm not going to say next big thing, but do you think this is kind of what people are kind of looking for that are maybe not looking to, that want to dip in to the role-playing type hobby, that want to dip into a fun little party kind of night? It reminds me of the murder mystery kind of box sets you used to get, where people used to play games and everybody would pretend to be a character, and then there'd be a murder or something like that. So that would be kind of cool, and that would also be kind of happening. You mentioned you get a lot of people who are not into board games and not called muggles. Do you find that there's the general chat? Is it well received from the people? Do you kind of keep an eye on the folk that have maybe saying, "Oh, I'm not sure about this," and see their reaction when they kind of come out and they've finished?
Yeah, there is a few. The worst ones you can get in are people who've been bought a gift token, and they've been sent this thing. Great Uncle Albert, here you go, have this for your birthday. You and 4 people can go down to this room, and they turn up not having a slightest clue what they're getting into. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that do require a little bit more work. But you see loads of people coming, because we sell board games in there now. They come in and they will look and they're like, well, what's this? And we've got some of the classics, sort of like Pandemic and all that there, stuff what I would deem as nice entry points to the hobby. And they come in and they go into the room, and some of them are unsure, but then they come out and they're like absolutely hyped because they've had that very intense hour-long experience of solving the stuff and getting through. And they're story-driven, our games. So one of them are in a heist, so everything's kind of like full on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they come out really stoked, and people are. We get a lot of people really enjoying it. And I think I was reading something. They said the current climate, where doom and gloom and Brexit and all this other crap, is people are spending less money on stuff and more money on experiences. Yeah, so I think that's why the escape room thing is having a bit of a boom at the moment with us, is because people, they could go to the cinema, which they do, but it's more of an interactive thing, and they're enjoying it. I don't know, and I think people, a lot of people out there want and love playing, but they've lost touch with play. Every human being, everyone needs to play to keep yourself fresh and alive, but people just lost touch with it because they just think it's a childish thing. Yeah. So this is a way for getting people who maybe wouldn't play a ball game or wouldn't want to do that, but they're essentially doing the same sort of stuff, but they don't know it. It's sort of like stealthily getting them to do that.
Yeah, but then I can see people going to, say, the cinema, and then, or not bothering going to the cinema, because 6 months later it's already out in digital.
Yeah.
It's like Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I'm watching it this week. I didn't go and see it at the cinema because,
I know, I'm the same. I used to go to the cinema all the time. A huge movie fan. Went there all the time, and I just find it got really expensive. And actually, a lot of the time, it's not the movies; it's the bloody audience around you. It's just like Jesus. Some days. So I do the same. I kind of like, I'll wait. It'll come out on Blu-ray, DVD, on download or whatever, and I'll pick it up when it comes out then, and I'll watch it then.
Yeah.
Unless it's like that movie, the event movie or something, like Ready Player One, for instance. Now that I will go to cinema to see.
I have just bought Ready Player One to read.
Well done, you.
It's the year 2044, and the real world has become an ugly place. We're out of oil, we've wrecked the climate, famine, poverty, and disease are widespread. Like most of humanity, Wade Watts escapes this depressing reality by spending his waking hours jacked into the oasis. So there you go.
It's a cracking read.
That's your fault.
You'll not be disappointed. I hope not. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my most well thumbed paperbacks. It gets travelled around with me a lot because I can just dip into it.
You can just dip in and dip out, and say you can just enjoy the pop culture. What'll be interesting is in about 30 years' time when it becomes like a historical document.
Well, yes. I mean, it's a generational thing, definitely, because there's I cannot see millennials reading this and getting anything from it. Which is because it's all referenced into the 70s and 80s, or 80s culture. Although 80s is big back now with Stranger Things, isn't it? So
then on the other side of it, I was listening to the Staying In podcast, and Peter Willington was saying, "Oh, actually, I think if you're up to the age of 34, then apparently you're a millennial."
Oh, okay.
So I kind of heard that. So it's like, yeah. So I'm like, well past that. So I'm officially a grumpy old fart.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty good. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's no. I like the idea. I think people talk about the next kind of the big event watch, and you're right. You mentioned Stranger Things. You mentioned, obviously. I talked about Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther.
I've not seen that yet, but I will. I do like the Marvel stuff.
Big, huge event watch. Everybody's going to see it. But I think people need something more. I think people can, they get told to devour content left, right and centre. And I think it's the lack of interaction with that content. I mean, it's like the new Jessica Jones is out.
Yeah, is that out now?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I didn't know that. I missed that.
I think it was out last week.
Exactly.
Oh. Do I go ahead and watch it? Yeah, I'll probably go in and get ahead and watch it. Will I grasp it with both hands like I did the last time?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was one of the best of the Marvel TV things. I haven't even watched Punisher yet, to be honest with you.
Punisher is very, very good. I think.
Yeah, I need to do it.
I think people stayed away from it because of what happened with Iron Fist.
Do you know what? I've not watched Iron Fist or Luke Cage because it just didn't grab me. I haven't even finished watching. Was it Defenders or something?
I didn't watch Defenders. I've not watched Defenders. I watched Luke Cage, and I enjoyed it once it got going.
Yeah.
It's like Luke Cage, as in it's kind of like he's slow to start, but once he gets going, he's pretty much unstoppable, and it does turn out to be a really, really good. It turns out to be a really, really good series towards the end. It's really, it's full of some really, really brilliant, strong kind of characters. Daredevil Season 2 was good. I like, they're
just a bit over long. I think that's my issue with the Netflix Marvel stuff, is they could kind of trim them down to like a 12-episode run or something, or whatever they are, because they just seem to kind of just go on that mid bit, it dips, and it just becomes a bit of a chore for a while.
It's like the opposite of the Marvel movies. Where you kind of you watched, what did I watch? Yeah, when I watched Thor Ragnarok, I thought, do you know what I could do with another one of these? I could do with a lot more Hela. I could certainly do with a lot more Thor in this current format and the Hulk. I loved that whole thing. I could have quite happily sat and watched another hour of it. Yeah, as you say, if you're talking about Luke Cage, there was parts where I thought, I know where you're going with character development, but you're just character developing for the sake of developing a character because you know you've got an episode to fill.
Yeah.
And it wasn't adding anything more.
That is the thing. I mean, there's some good... I mean, The Expanse is fantastic. I don't know if you're watching any of that yet.
I've started it, but then Star Trek Discovery kind of stepped up. And it kind of blindsided me a bit, to be honest.
I did enjoy Discovery in the end. Though, actually, I've got quite into the Orville. Because I was really dismissive of Orville when it was first. It looked like... It looked like a really bad version of Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
I'm like, this has been done before. But actually, I've started watching it, and I tell you what, it's really well done. And it's it is very true to Star Trek, but then it's got the occasional dick joke thrown in. It goes places I never thought it would with the Orville, and they go quite sort of real, sort of touchy subjects that you go, wow, I'm quite surprised you're covering this in what I thought was going to be a bit of a nonsense. So yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, it kind of goes in there. It's like, what's that I've been watching? I dip in and out of Brooklyn Nine-Nine on occasion.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into, let's do comedy, and then it's like, oh, here's something that's a little bit of a actual serious subject kind of thing. Like your man trying to build his daughter a doll's house. That was absolutely fantastic. But, I mean, with the business, I mean, are you going to get more involved? And are you thinking about scenarios? I mean, it sounds like you're talking about, acquiring new more premises to run more rooms. Have you got ideas of what you would like to do? Is it
we've got 3 firm ideas of what we want to do. Is if we can get it, we really want to do is a Joker themed room where you would be trialing out to be one of Joker's goons. And the whole part of the game is there's a bomb you've got to defuse at the end, and the Joker's constantly taunting you throughout the proceedings. And that's one we want to do. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so side on for that. So that's one we really, really want to do. And we want to do a Stranger Things room where you would be transferring between 2 worlds, the in-between or whatever it is, the upside down.
Yeah.
We're those are 2 concepts, and the other one is the third one we're looking at is potentially as a Witcher.
Okay.
And we think that could be quite cool. But I mean, the idea and plans they've got are stuff that they really want to do is slowly but surely get people into the point where they actually start LARPing without knowing they're LARPing. If you know what I mean. That's what we want to get these guys. Yeah, exactly. We're just people getting in there, and then slowly, kind of stealthily get them doing a little bit of role play, a little bit of this, and just slightly getting people to do it, but just not kind of announcing it.
The ASMR kicking in. So what do I do with this then?
Yeah, I mean,
put the helmet on.
Exactly.
Just put it on.
Maybe we could do a nightmare one. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Stick the helmet on. Oh.
You could do that. You could do that in an empty room and just not have to do that. That could be the super saver. You've got now we've got 3 rooms. You've got 3 experiences. You've got the one at £25, the one at £22, and then you've got the one at £5.99. And the £5.99 is the nightmare one.
Stick this bucket on your head.
Stick this bucket on your head, and here's the personal stereo. You just press
See you later.
Go left. Go left. Go left. Right. Put it in the basket. No, that. Do. Sounds kind of cool.
So I don't know. We've got lots of ideas. So it's just kind of trying to do it slowly.
I mean, how much does it cost?
What, to go into the game?
Yes.
So it's in the evenings, weekends. It's £24 a head, which is the top end of an escape room price. There is a lot more than you can pay £15 or so for. I've seen a lot for, but and the weekdays, if you come in before 4 o'clock, it's £19 a pop. But we get a lot of people in there, and I think the key to it is what they've done very well before I came aboard, and what they'd already done was, they were kind of tying into a little bit of film feel to stuff. So there's something there you can latch onto. So you go, oh yeah, this is a bit like this, or Indiana Jones or whatever. But also just the production design and the quality of the rooms is far beyond anything I've seen locally. So you're getting a bit more of it. They've pushed the boat out. Everything looks cool. The reception area looks very, real, sort of full on, sort of looks like a very big sort of style of business. All looks kind of megabucks and Hollywoody. So they're going for that top end thing and that experience, which is cool. I think it's quite enjoyable to do it because it does feel like you're giving a quality product rather than just some bloke in his flat. With a couple of padlocks and a cheese sandwich.
Just somebody sitting on the couch going, "Can you get out of the way? Corey's on."
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. Just keep it down back there, please.
Exactly.
Which I've heard some horror stories of escape rooms, which almost consist of that.
Really?
Yeah, which is
slightly
terrifying.
Yeah, there'll always be a couple that kind of crop up, especially if it becomes something that's kind of like really, really popular. Yeah. So if people have listened and they've went, well, I could get the 17 bus down to Southampton. It's only going to take a day and a half, but that sounds interesting. Exactly. Where can they find you on the interweb nets?
Well, obviously I'm at the usual places, but yeah, there is it's www.elusionrooms.com. You go there, have a look at that. You can book rooms. All in there is the site. You can see a bit of the room. We don't show much because we don't want to spoil anything. In fact, I recently did a video, so there is a video of me being an idiot as usual. So
I can't imagine that would be. Do you just not put that under your category of your videos?
I don't. Yeah, it's not. Well, no. I mean, I've actually just finished filming the trailer for our live show at the UK Games Expo.
Oh, okay.
So I need to. I've got to refine it a bit, but that will be getting released soon. Which I've seen a few trailers have gone out because Mr. Grogan, God bless his soul, has done one. And none pun included. They're all a bit kind of sat there, just kind of going, "Hello, I run a podcast. Would you like to come and watch me live?" And I was like, "What we need to do? We need to Hollywoodize this." So I have produced my epic Hollywood style trailer for my podcast.
Your impersonation of Paul Grogan, just absolutely, it's spot on.
Bless it, he'll be after me. He's come after me.
He's going to come after you.
Ball Game Mafia.
Exactly.
All right.
It's Who Dares Rolls on Twitter.
Yeah, Who Dares Rolls at Who Dares Rolls.
Yeah, and is it whodaresrolls.com or whodaresroll.co.uk? Is it Who Dares?
No, we're .com.
Oh, okay.
I thought I'd get the old make us sound a little bit more international. That's about the full extent of my efforts towards the international market.
Oh dear.
So I'm out there. So yeah, we've got a live show at the UK Games Expo. Second one. We did one last year. We're doing another one. There's like Shut Up and Sit Down.
Yeah.
Sir Paul and no pun included. And then we're there. I don't know how.
What happened there?
So yeah, we are in there with these big names.
What did you sit down with like Richard and go? Can we come back? And he's like,
well, I'm very
500 quid.
I'm lucky that Millie does a lot of the organisation.
Oh well, that's fine then. You're kind of
I know her quite well. So I think she is amused by my stupidity. So I think she likes to see me making myself look a fool in public. So
I can't imagine seeing a nicer man as a fool in public. Oh my goodness. Thank you for coming on, Mr. Mike Barnes.
It's been a pleasure as always, Richard. As always a pleasure.
It's like sure. I'm just looking at this and I'm like going, what are we going to talk about? It's like I still
don't know what we've talked about, to be honest with you.
I sent over the show notes and then I realised that I don't do show notes.
Did you? I was going to say, did you send me show notes? I didn't see that.
No.
They're a bit like my podcast notes. Did you get the fag packet, boys? Exactly. Although I don't. I actually make an attempt at sometimes organising it, and then it all falls apart anyway. So frankly, it's just.
I've tried it. And remember, all you need to do is if you'll find me on Skype at this address, and they go, "What's Skype?"
Yeah.
I'm like, This is not going to happen.
It's going to be a long night.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll put the links in the show notes. So if you're in the Southampton area, or if you fancy, if you're travelling on a day trip and you fancy doing something interesting and fun that involves getting locked in a room and it isn't drunken disorderly.
And it's in no way sordid.
Nothing at all.
Come and get locked in a room with me and be entertained by me, your personal host, for an entire hour. What could you ask for?
Do people get a discount if it's you?
We should. I have been speaking about maybe that we could offer a discount to like some of the big Facebook groups.
Oh yeah.
Because there's UK trading and chat and all that, and
yeah.
I thought, well, actually offering it to hobbyists is not a bad thing. So we are in discussions. We're in discussions.
Yeah, discussions.
So yeah, we might do that. I think it's a good thing to do.
That'd be absolutely fantastic. If you want to keep an eye on what we're up to,
yes,
go to Spotify. Did I say we're on Spotify?
You're on Spotify?
I'm on Spotify. I can't believe it.
Gracious! How do you fire your spots anyway? How does that work?
I don't know, but we got an email saying congratulations, you are on Spotify, and I was like that. I don't know what I meant to do now.
No, I don't know. I think I might have popped myself on there at one point. I don't even know why. Oh no, I'm on Stitcher. So
all right.
I don't know if that's.
No, we're on Stitcher.
Yeah, I need to get on Spotify. That's
we're on Spreaker, and we're on Acast, and we're on Podknife, and we're on YouTube. YouTube's We're Not Wizards. We did a video. I did a video recently on Catacombs Conquest, so it's a big thank you to Elusion Games for sending us a copy, because we did an unboxing video for it, and there's going to be more videos coming along soon as well, I think.
Yeah, I need to do more. It's just hard work, isn't it?
I just point my phone and just point it and see what happens, try and edit it, and then you realise it's like it gives you a big appreciation for like what Luke Hector does. And what Mr. Grogan does.
No, I have no appreciation for Hector. What does he do? Honestly, he sits there in front of the camera, looking like one of those special children that he has that special rub.
You be careful about Mr. Hector. Mr. Hector's lovely.
He's my arch nemesis. He is.
He's like the broken meeple. He's fantastic.
He's my nemesis. He doesn't know it, but he is. He's down the road at Portsmouth. I'm in Southampton. So
you're just going to turn up and punch him in the face at the UK Games Expo and say,
I love Luke because he isn't as abundant in character. He's very slight. He's very subtle, actually, Luke. He is funny, but he's very subtle in it. But yeah, he kind of gets this look of abject terror in his face when he's in the room with me, because it's like being stuck in a box with Freddie Starr. I think is probably what. Because he's like, what's going to happen? So he's just like he's terrified.
He did say last time he met you, he kind of just walked up and licked his face.
That's probably likely. I just do. Yeah, I do like to put him on edge. I do love the whole.
So that's at the Broken Meeple. Search on YouTube. Search YouTube for the Broken Meeple.
Broken Meeple.
Very excellent YouTube content.
Yes.
Fantastic top tens. Really, really strong shelf game. As well. And if you want to keep a track of us, as I say, did I say we're on Spotify?
Are you on Spotify?
Yeah, we're on Spotify. It's amazing. But you can also find us on the usual places like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And if you like what you've listened to this evening, seriously, if you like what you've listened to this evening, there's lots of other podcasts out there.
There is.
Have a search. On Spotify, though, you'll find us. But if you like us an awful lot, then please go to Apple Podcasts and drop us a rating or a review. If you do like us really, really nice, as I say, don't give us a 10, because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us a 1, because it makes us cry. And I am an ugly crier. It's confirmed. I have photographs. Give us a 5, because it's in the middle and it's average, and we are decidedly average. But the person who's not being average tonight in any way, shape, or form, and I've got a speech I've written.
Oh yeah, lovely.
No. Is the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic. He's the rather amazing Mr. Mike Barnes.
Lovely.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. There's only 2 more things to do.
No.
First thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards.
We're not.
Definitely not. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So it's a goodbye from the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic, the rather man who has dared to roll.
I did.
Not
Be careful. Be careful of rolling, children.
Always roll responsibly.
Roll responsibly and check ahead of you. I think worse than a dog parcel while you're rolling.
Exactly. It's the fantastic Mr. Mike Barnes. Say goodbye, Mr. Mike Barnes.
Goodbye, Mr. Mike Barnes.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, and as I said, have a check out. And have a check out on Elusion Rooms.
Yeah, do that. Come down, come see us. I'll entertain you for a full hour.
And if you pay even more money, he'll go on his lunch break.
Exactly. Then I'll be gone for an hour. It'd be lovely for you, even better.
But until the next time.
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
No, you hang up.
You hang up.